Hello everyone, it's Sue coming to you live today in Framework 5, which means we're going to tackle a topic in 5 minutes or less by reducing it to its essence because simple is clever. So today's focus is on creating and the word creating and the process of creating. So if you're with me here today, put a note in the comments or just hit the like so I know who's here. So maybe you can read the comments. Hey, hello there, Kathy. Hi. So here we go. Creating is a word that we use in our framework. So our framework for achieving great results has three main components: creating strategies, creating ownership, and creating alignment. And so we talk so much about strategies. We talk so much about alignment. We talk so much about ownership. But you know, today I wanted to focus on that bugger of a word, creating. So creating. And so I looked it up, in the dictionary. So my geeky analytical self said, hey, what's the definition of creating? And it says to bring something into existence and also to cause something to happen as a result of one's actions. I just even like the definition, right? The word is cool. I just love the meaning and the definition of bringing something into existence. And then if you look at the synonyms, I've always had trouble with that word since I was little, but synonyms such as build, conceive, design, discover, forge, actualize. So this word has a lot of meaning, right? And it has a lot of things behind it. There was this quote that, hung on my wall for years. And sometimes when we open a session on mainly transformational change and we're doing some work and teaching and coaching around transformational change, I'll pull this quote out. But it hung on my wall for more than 10 years when I was working as a leader in healthcare. I'm going to read it here today because I just love it. It has the word create and creating in it so many times. Creating the future is not the result of choices among alternative paths offered by the present, but a place that is created, first in mind, next in will, then in activity. The future is not some place that we are going to, but a place that we are creating. The paths are not to be discovered, but made. And the activity of making the future changes both the maker and the destination. And what I love most about this quote is that when I worked in an organization that went through a huge transformational change, and I was part of that process, I was one of the makers. There was lots of us that were the makers of this change. And I can say that I changed as a person. Yes, the organization changed, the culture changed, the results changed. What we were able to accomplish was certainly transformational and changed over what we were able to accomplish before. But not only did all that change, we as humans changed as well through the process. So this idea about creating is really about changing or evolving, right? And so what does it take to create? So I got to thinking about that. So if we're going to create strategies, create alignment, create ownership, what does it really take? What's part of that creative process? And one of the things that first hit into my mind was a commitment. This might seem kind of interesting. I was thinking of the analogy of when I sew. I like to sew as a hobby. And I remember taking a wedding gown. And it was a very special wedding gown. And I was cutting it apart and creating two new Flower Girls dresses out of this one very special a gown. And so I was going to create something new out of this. But it took a commitment, right? Because when I went to cut into that gown, right, and start taking it apart to build something new, I had to really be committed, right? I remember, like, I'm committed now, right? So it does take a commitment. And it takes a willingness to change. It takes a process for change. So I think creating is really a lot about the change process and change management. And just the word itself, creative, means, it needs creativity and innovation. If we're going to create, we need to be innovative. And that's one of the big coaching advices we give all the time to the teams and the leaders that are creating transformational changes. Innovate, make it yours, make it better. We'll give you this, but make it yours, make it better, create it into something that is yours. And lastly, I think what it takes to create is perseverance. So, once you commit, and you start, the creative process is just that. It doesn't just happen. So creativity is something that, is a process that takes time, and you have to persevere, and to get to that end result that you want. And some creative, processes are never done. I mean, if you think of 100-plus-year-old organization, you're probably never done creating yourself. As humans, we're never done creating ourselves. So that's the framework 5, and a little focus today on the word creating and its importance in our framework and its importance in our transformational efforts. So if you're more interested in how we work and partner with either leaders of departments or divisions or entire organizations to create alignment, create ownership, and create great strategies for great results, you can go on our website, capstoneleadership.net. There's a place where you can, jump around and see what we're up to and what we have to offer. And there's a special place where you can book a call with us if you want to talk more. Have a great week. Hope you're creating. Bye.